side of God. You might say the female half of God. And this is one of the 10 Sefirot, but she is one of the main figures in the Zohar. And the drama of the Zohar centers on the romance between Shekhinah and Tiferet, the Sefirah. In the middle here, Tiferet. Okay, Tiferet is the masculine, Malchut or Shekhinah is the feminine, and their union is the goal of this whole system, to unite the masculine half of God with the feminine half of God. That is the challenge of Jewish religion. According to Kabbalah, every good deed that you do brings the divine couple together. Any mindless or harmful or evil deed splits the divine couple, divorces the male from the female. So the very first Sefirah is Keter, which means crown. You could picture it as a crown on the divine organism, because the Sefirot really are depicted in the form of a body, an androgynous body, both male and female. Tiferet, masculine, Malchut, feminine. This is all one organism within God, because God is one. Even though they seem like different qualities, they are parts, they are components, they are aspects of the one God. So Keter is the crown on the head. Chochmah and Bina, the next two Sefirot, are the divine mind. God's thinking, God's contemplating. Chochmah is seen as masculine, Bina as feminine. Bina is the divine mother. Bina gives birth to the 7 lower Sefirot, the 7 lower qualities. And in general, the Kabbalah says, don't venture too far. Don't even try to explore this hidden realm of the highest Sefirot of Keter, Chochmah, and Bina. Start with the Sefirot from the next level, the next rung, Chesed, divine love. Its opposite would be Gevurah, divine power, or Din, judgment. It's also known as Pachad, fear. So think of love and fear, these opposites of love and fear. These are divine qualities, but they are also human qualities. We feel love, we feel fear, right? We project those qualities onto God. So much of theology is projection. But what makes the Zohar especially intriguing is that the Zohar moves back and forth constantly between the human and the divine. So this is a depiction of divine qualities, but it teaches us something about our own inner workings, our own inner dynamics. If you can balance love and awe, love and fear, then you end up at a place of harmony, which is Tiferet. Tiferet is seen as balancing the love of God and the harsh judgment of God. And the next Sefirot are spoken of very rarely in the Zohar, but the passage we're going to look at today does allude to them. Netzach and Hod, literally endurance and splendor. You could think of them as minor variations, minor replications of Chesed and Gevurah. Netzach on the right conveys something of the divine love. Hod on the left conveys something of that opposite divine power. But in the Zohar, they are seen as the source of prophecy. And that will come up in the passage we're going to look at shortly. Netzach and Hod channel the divine light to the prophet. Now, the prophet doesn't necessarily reach this level. The prophet is still human. The prophet is beneath Malchut, beneath Shekhinah, but the prophet draws on the power, the emanation from Netzach and Hod, channeled through Yesod, the divine phallus, Tiferet and Yesod together are the masculine entity within God. And then that prophetic inspiration, that prophetic flow reaches Shekhinah or Malchut, and the prophet experiences prophecy beneath Malchut, but drawing on Netzach and Hod. Beneath Malchut are various angelic realms, and the Zohar is going to mention some of them today, specifically Gavriel. Michael and Gabriel, Michael and Gavriel are two of the archangels, two of the main angels in Jewish and Christian and Islamic tradition. And they inhabit the realm beneath Malchut, beneath Shekhinah. So the angel Gavriel, the angel Gabriel, is going to make an appearance in the passage today as well. Okay, that's just a few highlights of the Sefirot. We can talk about that later when questions come up, but I want to move immediately to the Zohar passage for today. And some of you have the PDF, but I'm going to share it here. This is a page of Zohar. In a minute, I'm going to enlarge it so that we can read the text more clearly, but I just want to show you the full page here for a moment. Many of you have this or have one volume of this edition. This is my translation of the Zohar Pritzker edition. The entire work is 12 volumes, of which I completed the first 9. 2 other scholars working with my guidance completed volumes 10 through 12. Volumes 1 through 9 I composed, and those 9 volumes cover the Zohar's commentary on the Torah. So we're looking at volume 3 of the Zohar Pritzker edition because this Joseph story is further on in the book of Genesis. The first 3 volumes of the Zohar Pritzker edition cover Genesis. The next 3 volumes cover Exodus, and volumes 7 through 9 cover the rest of the Torah, Leviticus through Deuteronomy. So we're in volume 3 of the Zohar Pritzker edition. This is the Zohar's commentary on the story of Joseph. Just to help you navigate the page, the top it says the Zohar. Over here is the original Aramaic pagination, but we're working with English page numbers, with Arabic page numbers here, page 114 in volume 3. Anything in italics is a quote from the Bible. Okay, all biblical verses are put in italics here, as you can immediately see when a verse is being quoted. The top part of the page is the Zohar. The bottom part of the page is my commentary. Sometimes, as you see, there's more commentary than Zohar, but that's because the Zohar is so dense. We're going to begin reading the text and then move down to the commentary. So let me just enlarge this a little so that people can see the text more clearly.
There is one simple device that, once set up in your home, can produce endless amounts of fresh, clean water. The best part is, it only takes a few minutes to set up. Many may have heard about this, but for those who haven't yet, there was a review conducted by Army and...
Okay, this is the text of the Zohar. It begins, Joseph dreamed a dream from Genesis chapter 37. And let me read to you a few verses so that we'll get the biblical context. The Zohar, after all, is a commentary on the Torah. It's not a systematic book of mysticism. It moves through the Torah verse by verse, chapter by chapter. And it's important to have a Bible in front of you when you're studying the Zohar so you can see what the Zohar is drawing on. So I'm going to read from chapter 37, beginning verse 5. Joseph is a son of Jacob, but Joseph's brothers resent him because Jacob favors Joseph more than any of his other children. For example, Jacob makes for Joseph a coat of many colors, some special ornamented tunic that Joseph has, and his brothers are very jealous. But the brothers are even more spiteful toward Joseph because of this dream that Joseph has. This is chapter 37 of Genesis, verse 5. I'm reading from Robert Alter's translation of the Bible, which I highly recommend. It's the best translation there is of the Bible in English, just called the Hebrew Bible. 3 volumes. I'm reading from volume 1, which is the Torah. Joseph dreamed a dream and told it to his brothers, and they hated him even more. He said to them, "Listen, please, to this dream that I have dreamed. Look, we were binding sheaves in the field, and look, my sheaf arose and actually stood up, and look, your sheaves drew round and bowed to my sheaf." That's his dream. He dreams that they're all in the field, they're binding the sheaves of wheat. Joseph's sheaf stands up tall, and all of the brothers' sheaves bow down to Joseph's sheaf. His brother said to him, "Do you mean to reign over us? Do you mean to rule us?" And they hated him even more for his dreams and for his words. Okay, that's enough of the biblical text to get us going. So how does the Zohar continue? Rabbi Chia opened. Okay, this is one of the scholars of the Zohar, one of the companions of Rabbi Shimon, the hero of the Zohar. He's going to interpret this verse in Genesis, but the way you interpret a verse in Jewish tradition is by quoting another verse. So Rabbi Chia quotes another verse that mentions the word dream from the book of Numbers. Rabbi Chia opened, he said, "Hear my words. If there be among you a prophet of Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, in a vision I make myself known to him. In a dream I speak with him." And so this is the book of Numbers, where actually God is comparing Moses to all the other prophets. He's contrasting all other prophets to whom God might appear in a vision or in a dream, whereas to Moses, God appears directly. But the reason this is important here, and the reason Rabbi Chia quotes the verse, is because it seems to be saying prophecy can come through a dream. So there's some connection, there's some relation between prophecy and dream.